All right, welcome. Wanted to start off by introducing myself because I've never really done that on the channel before. So, my name's Mitch. I live in North Carolina in Troutman, just a little bit north of Charlotte. Right now, we are in a very cold spell to the point where courses are closing down, which is pretty rare for where we're at in North Carolina. So, I'm gonna take a few minutes to kind of introduce myself, tell my story, and then also kind of go through what my practice session looks like on a simulator. So, we'll kind of go through both of those things here in the next few minutes, but want to introduce myself, tell my story, why I'm filming, why I'm putting stuff on YouTube around my golf game, and where that goes from here. And primarily for me, it's just to kind of document my process, my journey. I'm 31 years old. I'm trying to play high level golf for the first time in my life. So, typical dad in his 30s trying to relive the glory days, but that's what we're doing. So, growing up, I didn't play a lot of golf competitively. I have played golf pretty much my whole life. My dad got me into it, play with my brother, but other sports always took priority. Golf was just fun on the side to do. So, playing golf for fun up until high school, playing other sports competitively. All my buddies played other sports as well, but they also played golf similar to me. And we all decided to try out for our high school golf team because we knew that our team wasn't very good. We all made it. We all made varsity, and we all were probably scoring on average in the mid 90s every round. So it was an awesome experience. Really fun to play golf with the boys, go out and get some free golf, but we would be matched up with the top players from every other school who were very good golfers who would go on to play college golf and professional golf. So we would get destroyed every tournament, but it was fun. Again, golf wasn't our main focus. We'd all try to play other sports. For me, it was lacrosse. So golf was just kind of an off-season thing for me. All my time and energy was focused on lacrosse. So did that all through high school. Went and spent 2 years on a mission for my church, and then played a year of college lacrosse at BYU. It was awesome. Loved the experience. I knew it was something that I wasn't going to do forever. And after one season, I felt like it was time to move on. And so I got great experience playing a sport at the college level and saw what that was like. But moving on, decided to kind of hang up the cleats and see what was next for me. So fast forward a couple years, met my wife. We got married and had 2 kids. I grew up in Utah. It's where we were living through all of this. We lived in Utah up until a little over a year ago when we moved here to North Carolina. And it was an interesting move. It was something that we were both excited about, and something that I was very excited about was playing more golf. We're living in an area that usually has golf year round, except for this week because of some crazy snowstorms, which are very rare for where we live, just here north of Charlotte. But we were really excited about the move. So came down here, started playing some more golf. If we back up a little bit, before I moved, I started filming a little bit of golf content and just started putting it out on YouTube just for fun as a hobby, not really expecting it to go anywhere. And the main purpose of that content was just reviewing different clubs, kind of equipment reviews, seeing which clubs were good for beginners, intermediate players, low handicappers, just very, very basic. So put a few out there. They're still on my channel if you want to go back and look at those. They're a few years old, but it was fun to do. Kind of stopped and put my focus elsewhere. Fast forward now to when we're living in North Carolina. Being here is very interesting because there's a lot of opportunities for tournament golf, especially at the pro level. So again, I feel like I'm pretty athletic. I played other sports growing up, but never really spent a lot of time working on my golf game. It's all just been just natural. We never had a country club membership growing up. I never had any sort of coaching. It was all just kind of figure it out on your own, see what the pros do, try to mimic what they do. And that's been the extent of my golf career. So at this point in my life, I thought, hey, I'm curious to see how I could do if I actually spent time working at this and really trying to improve my game. I've played other sports at high levels and kind of know what it takes to put the work in, and So I thought, let's try it and see how far we can go. And let's turn the camera on and just document the process and see what that looks like. And if people want to follow along, great. Maybe that'll open up some doors and some opportunities. If not, no big deal. Wanted to do this for a few different reasons. For me, to be able to have something to work towards and goals to accomplish outside of other things in my life with family and work and so on and so forth. But another big reason, I talk to my wife a lot about this, is to be an example. I've got two young boys, and at this stage in life, you don't have like set milestones very much anymore of things you're trying to accomplish, whether it's graduating from school or getting a first job or whatever it may be, or sports, for example. At a young age, it's very easy to see goals that you're trying to accomplish with sports, whether it's little league championship or high school state championship or whatever, things to kind of work towards. And as a parent, I wanted to be a good example for my boys and to show them the work that goes into trying to be good at something. And for me, my job, I'm primarily behind a computer. And so for them, they're 6 and 3. They don't really understand totally what I do for work other than I sit behind a computer. But something that they can see more specifically is me practicing my short game in the front yard or going to the course, the driving range, the simulator, really trying to put work into something and trying to get good at. So that was another reason of wanting to do this, is to be an example. And last year was the first time I started playing in any sort of tournaments. In North Carolina, it's really awesome because there are more opportunities for tournament golf. In Utah, there were some. It's primarily around the USGA stuff, like the state am, other amateur events, which I started doing a little bit before we moved out here. Again, with golf just being more on the side, just kind of practice here and there, not really spending a ton of time on my golf game. Coming out here, learning about a lot more opportunities between mini tour events, which I think are awesome, playing against really, really good competitors, guys fresh out of college who are trying to make Korn Ferry Tour or prep for Q School, things like that. So it's very high level golf. And I thought, man, I would love to kind of see where I stack up against some of these guys if I actually put the time into work. So last year I played in my first ever professional tournament. It was a mini tour event, so obviously it's not one of these major tours. And tournament golf is a whole nother beast compared to playing weekend golf with your buddies. A lot more pressure, very, very competitive. And something that I learned from that very first tournament is that tournament golf is something that is only learned by playing more tournament golf. It's hard to simulate that style environment. And that's another reason why I wanted to start filming as well. So filming, I feel like, adds a little bit of pressure to the round if you're filming yourself playing and putting it out to the world to see. So maybe a way to simulate tournament golf without playing actual tournaments is by filming a little bit. So that was part of the reasoning as well. So as we did that, I have met some really cool people, including two guys at the local course right by where I live, who we started kind of filming together because they were both in similar situations of playing other sports at a high level and now kind of later in life, post-college, trying to compete in golf. So it's Alex and Jermaine. We've got a YouTube channel specifically for the three of us working at this as well and filming that process and that journey of trying to play really good golf. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, it's pretty much the same as what I'm doing here, just the group of us together. Alex is attempting to play high-level golf on the adaptive side of things. He was born with only one arm, and he's a scratch golfer with one arm, and it's really fun to watch him play. He competes at a very high level at that, and so he's focusing on the adaptive side of things. Jermaine is a college athlete as well. He played college football for the University of Virginia, and he's trying to prep for Q School. So he plays high level golf as well. So between the three of us, we have similar goals, and we thought, hey, let's team up and help each other out. And so that's what we're doing. So again, really just trying to document this thing, be a good example to my boys and see how that goes. So that's where we're at. If you want to follow along, great. If not, no big deal. But we'll see how far we can get this, and excited for the people I meet along the way. Now, it being very cold right now here in North Carolina, the courses have been covering their greens because of the continued frost over the last couple of days, which is rare, doesn't happen super often, but it's kind of changed the practice routine for me here in winter golf. I'm really trying to analyze my game. I posted a couple videos and shorts just showing where my stats line up from last year, my scoring average, individual course stats, things like that. And the main thing that I realize I need to work on is my approach game. My irons, I'm a pretty good ball striker, but I had a lot of missed greens. So decided to focus on that over the next few days, specifically my ball striking, my irons, really trying to dial in the numbers. Now, with the courses being closed, the only place I can really do that is on the simulator. Now, I know a lot of people have access to simulators, especially with a lot of new businesses popping up where you can have these clubs and memberships to these simulator lounges where you can go have an hour at a simulator. So someone who's never really had a coach or structured practice, it was hard for me initially to figure out how to utilize my time at a simulator. But looking back at my stats, seeing what I need to work on, something that I found works well for me is just trying to spend time on the range on the simulator, not really play rounds. Initially, when I started playing on simulators, it was fun to play on courses like play on Pebble Beach, see what scores you can get on the simulator, which that's fun. For me, the simulator is more of a time to really dial in the numbers, check your yardages, spin rates, that sort of thing. So for me, really needing to work on greens, decided to spend that hour on the simulator specifically working on my irons. So last year, I, on average over the year, would hit a little less than 8 greens per round. So over 18 holes, not great. That was about 43%. So the majority of my misses were short. So for me on the simulator session, I really just wanted to figure out what the numbers were. So what I did is I pulled up Google. I put in, I think, 75 yards to 230 yards. So I just said, generate a random number between 75 and 230 and click generate, and would just get random numbers. Each of those numbers, I would hit 3 shots and just see how close I could get to each of those numbers and generate a new number. So I'd be jumping from hitting wedge shots to hitting long irons to hitting mid irons, back to long irons, back to wedge shots. And I thought that was really good because it's very rare you hit 2 mid irons in a row in a round of golf. Obviously, I'm hitting 3 shots with each club, so it's not totally simulating a round of golf, but really trying to put pressure on these 3 shots, try to get within 5 yards of each other on every shot and get that consistency and focus on the yardages, what the carry yardage is, what the total yardage is. I recently on a practice session did a club gapping, so I went through my whole bag to see what those yardages were, took that info to the simulator for this practice session to say, okay, let's see if we can consistently do this as these numbers jump around from this generator on Google. So that's how I spent my time for that 1 hour. I practiced that. I've also been working on a little swing change with my driver. And so for the last about 10, 15 minutes, I probably hit 7 or 8 drives and hit them really well. Was happy with the consistency of my swing changes. Being in January, I'm trying to not implement tons of swing changes anymore. If anything, very, very minor ones, just to be able to be ready, because here in a couple months is when real tournament golf is going to start. So I want to be prepped for that and don't want to have to make swing changes now where I'm not used to those when tournaments come. So that's what we've been working on. Other than that, I think short game is the other thing. I'll probably do a separate video on that, just maybe a little short because the greens are covered. So here practicing at home, I do it on the rug here at my house and try to get some consistency and get the stroke dialed in. So I'll probably do a different video on that. But for now, I think that's good enough. I appreciate you watching all the way through. If you made it this far, I'm excited to get playing more golf as this weather warms up and try to stay consistent. And hopefully go low and see how well I can compete. I think that's about it. So appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.